Hi, I'm Amanda, and today the Vocalist magazine has the pleasure of sitting down with the Key Lights. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
So tell me a bit about how your band first started.
We got together about, 5 years ago now?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, and we'd all met each other through different projects, and we all do different things in music, and we sort of wanted to get together and play soul music, classic soul music and R&B, and just started as a little thing for us to be able to do that and play together, and and then as we progressed, we played a bunch of gigs, wrote some tunes, and put out our record, yeah.
Okay, and how did you guys meet each other 5 years ago?
Well, we all met each other at different times, different places. Josh and I have known each other for well over 10 years, and Simon, who's not here today, also has been a friend of mine for a long time, and he and Joel were friends, so I guess Simon, in a way, was the
Puppet master.
he brought us all together.
Okay, great. So now I want to dig a little bit deeper. Tell me about your personal experience with music, even if you have to bring me back to your childhood. How did it come to be your source, your drive?
That's a complicated question, and I think we'll get varied answers. Anyways, for me, my mother's a musician. I was brought up playing music, as was my whole family. I actually kind of really disliked music until I switched to the bass when I was 16, and then that's really all I cared about from that point on. And one of the things I liked most about bass was that it was very versatile. I could play any kind of music, rock, jazz, classical, anything. And with electric bass, very, very quickly, as soon as I discovered like funk and soul music, that was my favorite music to play. So playing in a project like this was basically a dream come true. Yeah.
And I just started playing when I was a kid. When I was about 12, I started playing gigs and playing blues and sitting in with guys in Toronto where I grew up, and I just loved it, and that's sort of been.
Wow, 12, that's an early start.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, my dad was super supportive. My parents don't play, but he'd drive me around to go sit in with people, and that's sort of where I learned, and then just on stage. And yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to be able to do it ever since.
I don't know. Music is just something that I was always drawn to, and when I was a kid, I'd have my cassettes and my Walkman, and really enjoyed putting on my headphones and, tripping out to whatever music I was listening to at the time. And it was fun because then, it could be like 1 month I was really into Alanis, and then the next month was like Public Enemy, and then the next month was CNC Music Factory. There was really no inhibitions about what kind of music that. And some of that music, Public Enemy, namely, I still really enjoy today. Alanis maybe a little less so, but it was just really, an exciting thing. And then a little later on, I started playing the drums, and also feel, very fortunate to still be able to do it all those years later.
Okay, great, wonderful. So some of your potential fans might be tuning in. How would you describe your music to people who have yet to hear it?
I'd say there would be parts of it that are recognizable to fans of old soul music, Stax and Motown, and in some of the grooves and some of the playing, and some of the sounds are a little more modern, a little bit hip-hoppy in the production. But I mean, our influences are really all over the place. There's like some West Indian kind of influences a little bit, and and surf music and garage music. And then there's beautiful string arrangements and horn arrangements on the record that are just sort of classic. Yeah.
Okay, great. So are there any particular artists that you guys look to for inspiration? Any names that stand out to you guys, either personally or as a band?
As a band, I'd say that we're pretty heavily influenced by Booker T and the MGs, as well as all the classics like James Brown, Curtis Mayfield, and then who else? I'm kind of drawing some blanks now. But all like the soul greats, they're the ones. We learn their music, we learn the tunes, we learn how they play it, and then we try and play it like that, and then we put our own take on it. So basically we draw on all of that music as inspiration. Yeah.
So you guys have a debut album out. Tell me about that experience of making your album.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was produced by our friend Warren Spicer, who plays in the band Plants and Animals, and we did it in Montreal at a great studio here called MixArt. So we'd been working on the tunes for a while. We wrote the tunes. We sort of write the tunes collaboratively and then arrange them together, workshopped them and played them live, and then we were ready to go record it. So most of the record we just set up in a big room, played all together, and then I put my vocals on after, and we did our string and horn arrangements. But it was really pretty easy. We just set up and played the songs and tried not to think about it too much, you know?
It took a long time, though. It was from writing the music to when we actually released the album was over 2 years. Wow. Yeah, it was a long process. Probably just the recording part took a year. Yeah.
Yes, but it was funny because we did 80% of the recording in 5 days. Yeah. I think we recorded in December, and then somehow we didn't revisit the tracks until August, which was just a product of life and people. Some of us went away on tour with other bands, and just people were busy, so it kind of laid dormant for half a year. And then when we dug it all out again, we were pleased to find that it still sounded good. And then so then Josh did his vocals, and then, like he said, we added the bells and whistles, and it just kind of brought it all together. So it did take a long time, but it wasn't like a continued effort through all that time.
It was more that things came up, and in due time, the record was produced.
Exactly.
Okay, great. So I want to know what drives your lyrics.
The way we write the lyrics, usually I write some of the lyrics, and unfortunately Simon, the guy who isn't here today, he writes most of the lyrics. So I can speculate, but I think all the tunes are really pretty personal. I mean, when I think about the themes, it's like classic soul music stuff, love and relationships and heartbreak, and then there's, yeah, I'd say so. And also just, there's some just good time songs on the record too, like party tunes.
Those must be fun to perform.
Yeah, I mean, they're all fun to perform, really.
And in soul music, a lot of times, not to say that the lyrics aren't important, but what's exciting about that music is just getting this feeling across, right, especially in a live situation.
Okay, so how do you manage to get that feeling across?
Well, I think drawing from personal experience to write the lyrics probably helps Josh as a singer kind of get behind what he's singing. But there's just something exciting about being on stage, for me, at least, playing with these guys, and I think we're all looking for the same kind of feeling on stage, so I think it just happens naturally where we try to make it happen.
Yeah, and I think I'm the singer in the band, and it's kind of been a cool process because I'm used to either singing other people's songs or singing my own songs, and when you sing covers and other people's songs, you have to find something in it that you can relate to, and you can feel or get behind or understand or communicate, even if it's not the intention of the original songwriter, So because I only write some of the lyrics in this band, I've had to look at the lyrics that Simon writes and find out, kind of either ask him what they're about, or put my own spin on them and find something that I can relate to, so that when I sing them, it's going to be effective to people, that, yeah, okay, genuine in my way, whether it's necessarily his intention or whatever, but so that I can feel it, so that I can put something across with it,
Okay, great. So tell me a bit about the Montreal music scene. What is it like?
It's great. It's hard. It's no, I mean, there's really, the only thing about Montreal is there really isn't a lot of places to play, but there's a great scene here. I mean, it's a fairly small world, and everyone, all of us, the reason our record took so long is we all play with a ton of different projects and tour, and all different kinds of music. So there's lots of great musicians in the city, but to make a living at it, you pretty much have to go away to make your living, you know? So we all do a lot of touring with different things, and but the local scene around town, there's just great people doing stuff, you know?
So talk to me about these different projects.
Joel, you want to go first?
Okay, sure. Well, I play in a ton of different styles of groups, anywhere from pop to world music to jazz. I write a lot of jazz based material and perform with my own group. I'm kind of heavily immersed in like the world scene, especially the Jewish music scene. What else do I do? We have a country band together. Yeah, basically, it's really nice because, to me, it's really interesting because in Montreal, I find a lot of musicians are very, very versatile, which you don't always find elsewhere. And so, even across these many genres that I play in, there's many other people that I play in a lot of these groups with as well that are also as versatile, and it's really, I find it really, really cool. It's really pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do different stuff. I play with some country artists in Montreal. I play with some kind of indie rock projects and tour with stuff like that. It's really all over the map. Yeah. And the same thing with a lot of the same people in totally different contexts, you know?
Well, I think the country band is actually a pretty interesting, it sort of exemplifies what Joel and Josh are talking about. The singer of that band plays classical bass in the Montreal Symphony Orchestra. All of the key lights are in this country band. The fiddle player is a phenomenal improviser who plays a lot of free music, but also a lot of bluegrass music. There's a pedal steel player in the band who is part of the Patrick Watson band. So tons of musicians who are just really passionate about playing music, and that can take many shapes and forms. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of
That band's called The Firemen. If anyone's looking around online, check out The Firemen. Andrew Horton, best singer in town.
So, to any aspiring musicians that might be watching, what's your best advice to them?
Just keep doing it and keep having fun, because there's so much other stuff around music that doesn't have anything to do with the actual music, you know? Like getting together your business stuff or all this stuff that seems to be important. I think having your instrument in your hand or singing or whatever, as long as you're doing that and liking it, that's the most important thing, I think. Anybody else have anything?
I'd agree with that, but it's music is, especially if you want to take it to a high level. I feel like there's this redundancy about it where you have to take it really seriously, but you can't take it seriously at all. It's a really weird thing. It requires hours and hours of practice and everything, but the only reason that you're doing all this practicing is because you want to have fun.
Right. Okay. So you have to have a balance, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you concur?
Yeah, I think for me, and it's echoing what Josh just said, but just kind of stick with it. Because a lot of people, you reach a certain age where you feel like you need to kind of, get your things together and be more serious about life and whatnot.
Okay.
But I think if you're passionate about music and you work hard at it and you just keep doing it, and if you're an honest person and, and how you relate with people, sooner or later something's going to happen.
Great. That's very encouraging advice. So let's talk a bit about the future. Where do you guys see yourself in 2 years' time?
Well, the last little while for us has been, we finished our record, and then it's sort of been like a regrouping because 3 of our 4 members had kids within the last year and a bit.
Yeah.
So, we're just sort of getting used to that new reality. Yeah.
New routine, I can imagine.
hmm But the cool thing about this project is because it's sort of our thing for us for fun. If we take a little bit of time off, it's not we're not pushing it too hard. You know what I mean? It still has to be fun, and it's not worth stressing out over.
Great. Okay, well, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.